Action. I'm coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. And for the next 3 hours, you can join the conversation and be heard nationwide, giving us your thoughts, your commentaries, your opinions, or raising your questions. All you have to do is call us at 1-877-532-5797, or you can log on to the live stream and send me a message on the message board at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. And a lot is going on, and you may want to weigh in. First thing, though, is this is tax day, and it made me think about those of us that have been advocating for years now about reparations, and many of us have been committed to that and remain committed. And just 2.5 weeks ago, I addressed the United Nations on reparations. President of Ghana had me come with him, and they won the vote. United States, Israel, and Argentina voted against the vote, but they won the vote that the UN should condemn the Atlantic slave trade and pay reparations, repair the damage done, and now they're going to bring it to the World Court, which is why it amazes me when people tell me that all I want is reparations, I don't believe in voting. That's like saying, well, all I want to do is live, but I don't believe in breathing. You cannot get reparations unless you have officials that are in the government that vote for reparations. So then another group of smarties come along and say, well, they've had the HB 40 for years and couldn't get the votes. That's correct. Just like we were in slavery 246 years before we got emancipation. You keep fighting. You don't have a fantasy. And a lot of people, I mean, do you think they're going to give us reparations because you got an attitude? Because you mad? They got places for you that are mad. This can happen. Now, I know some of y'all think we'll never get it. Some people thought we never have a black president. We did. This can happen if we put the right people in office and challenge that as we go. We first got to get the Affordable Care Act back, save voting rights, then go to that step. That's why, those of you that came to Nan's convention last week, it is very likely that one of those people walk across that stage is going to be the next president of the United States. I don't know who it is. We had 10 of them. Everybody but Newsom came. Newsom couldn't get out of his family thing, whatever that was. And we have done this 26 years because if you invite everybody, ask them the questions or let them speak, know that one of them may be the president. When we did it in 2007, everybody came, one of them became president, Barack Obama. We did it 3 terms later, everybody walked across that stage, one of them became president, Joe Biden. So if you acclimate people when they run it on what you want to know, make your commitments, and you know who we are, then you've got the ability to go to them once they're in. There's a strategy to this. Being angry and hollering and screaming is not a strategy. It may get it off your chest, and I understand that. I understand the need to get it off your chest. I love to get stuff off my chest. I get it off by working out in the morning. But I understand getting it off your chest. But just know that it ain't going to lead to nothing but it getting off your chest. There's a difference between you downloading and unloading and making noise and getting something done. So I think about that on tax day. We got to pay taxes. When do they pay us? When we put people in office that will have that done. All right, a lot to talk about today. There are threats by Tehran that the Red Sea transits will be blocked if the blockade by Donald Trump remains. It reads military escalation and temporary diplomatic pause. Donald Trump announced major combat operations against Iran on the 28th of February, initiating a large-scale joint U.S.-Israeli strike on key military and government sites. A temporary 2-week pause on expanded bombing was granted after Iran signaled willingness to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. But negotiations in Pakistan ultimately collapsed, and Iran's nuclear program remaining the central sticking point. Now, there's economic warfare going. Now, you've got to deal with regional instability. Netanyahu's confirmed that Israel's ongoing military operations in Lebanon against Hezbollah will continue, stating Lebanon is not covered under the Iran ceasefire. So this thing is not going anywhere. And your gas prices is going everywhere. Why Trump put us in this in the first place? Somebody need to call and explain to me. Secondly, we're looking at today these accusations against Eric Swalwell. Several now have come forward. He's resigned. But at the same time, what people are not talking about is the Trump administration has moved to toss out the remaining convictions of the January 6th crowd. So at one hand, I want y'all to get this now. On one hand, he's saying that we're soft on crime, those of us that are left of center or center. He even said the Pope is weak on crime. At the same time, he wanted to let some criminals go that assaulted the Capitol of the United States and was chasing members of Congress and members of the Senate and their own vice president down the hall. Who's going to soft on crime? House Democrats also put up five impeachment articles, and they have been filed saying the 25th Amendment should be enacted. He's not fit to stay in. And a lot of buzz still around what the candidates had to say at National Action Network's convention. Let me get ready to open up the phones. There's so much to talk about. A lot I didn't get to, but you're welcome to bring up what you want. Marcia Barrow saying no accountability at all. You're right. They are not being held accountable. The Stephanie Humphrey channel saying peace and blessings, Reverend Al, and the chat. Peace and blessings back at you, Stephanie. And Roderick McCoy saying good afternoon. Where'd Roderick McCoy go? Good afternoon from Meridian, Mississippi. Nan family. All right. I'm love Mississippi. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Letting the joy unfold. I'm living my life like it's golden. 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 Golden. Living my life like it's golden.
This organization has been on the front line. People ask me, why do families call us? Because we never leave them. No justice. No justice. What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? When do we want it? When do we want it?
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church.
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, "The two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born." I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
Racial discourse, a blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I
a race
had to
baiter.
learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher.
Reverend Al Sharpton. You can call in at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, or you can go on the message board. And I see Monica McClendon is on the message board saying, "Good morning, Reverend Al Sharpton, keeping it real here in Hawaii." Well, glad to know they're listening out in Hawaii. And I know they went through some torrential weather a couple weeks ago. I hope everybody's well. And thank you for listening, Monica, and letting us know you listen. People around the world listen. Let me know you listening. Roderick McCoy is saying, "I don't understand why the so-called president and vice president can't keep the Pope's name out of their mouths." You know, I think I'd be very interested in some people to call, whether you're Catholic or not, but particularly if you're Catholic, and explain to me how this president picks a fight with the Pope, and that's all right. To conservatives, some who are Catholic. Don't forget, J.D. Vance, the vice president, just wrote a book on how he converted to Catholicism. And now he's supporting the president, questioning the Pope. And all the Pope said is we need to have peace in Iran and not have war. And he's attacking this Pope. I mean, I'd really be interested in some Catholics call or some that understand Catholicism or somebody that understands Christianity. I mean, this is unprecedented. And he won't stop. He keeps going back over and over and over again. It's just crazy. Let me remind you to watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton every Saturday and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MS Now. And certainly I'm already working on the guests. Have one governor, 2 senators already confirmed, because I really want to dig into where we are with Iran, but I also want to bring back up, no one's talking about, the Affordable Care Act has not been renewed. And I want to talk about the voting rights. There's nothing more important than preserving our right to vote. It's our only way to have a voice. So make sure you watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. And then the Saturday Action Rally. This will be the first Saturday Action Rally since the convention. We're going to lay out where we're going. I said in my president's address last Saturday, the generalities of where we're going. I'm going to get specific Saturday and push us forward. We didn't just have a great convention. We have to have a great follow-up to the convention. And I think that is Saturday morning. I think that is a mandatory if you're in the tri-state area to get there. 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Mother AME Zion Church on 137th Street and between Lenox and 7th Avenues. And they are going in today. We bought, as people have seen and heard all over the news, New York Times did a huge story. We being National Action Network, have bought the firehouse in Harlem, and we're getting some of the insides redone. It's in great shape, by the way. The Faison Firehouse and 5 floors, and we'll be moving in there probably early May. Till then, our Saturday rallies are at Mother AME Zion, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. I'll be there every Saturday looking for you. All right, let's go to the phones. 1-877-532-5797. Let's start off in Germany. I tell people we heard all over the world. Let's go to Germany and talk to Brother Rick in Germany. Rick, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
And as always, I say to you, good day, Brother Al.
Good day.
Reverend Al Sharpton.
Yes, sir.
I just want to talk briefly about the supernatural. The supernatural does not take sides in man's wars. The supernatural does not write holy books. Men and women do that. The supernatural does not do miracles in the lives of human beings on a daily basis, depending on how you count miracles. And I count miracles as that which is not coming into being, which that is. I believe supernatural appears among men and women and guides us and then leaves us to our own devices. Donald Trump is not supernatural. He is not supernatural in any way, and he is going to bring the world to the brink of the 4th World War. I believe the 3rd World War was with George H.W. Bush Sr. going into Iraq in 1991 and ushering in America's wars in the Middle East, not only to protect Israel, but to protect world trade. The supernatural does not engage in trade. The supernatural gives us the planet, the farms, the food, the trees, the oxygen, free. Brother man, I'm done.
All right. Thank you for your call and your enlightened comments, because I think they were enlightened. Let's go to Tony in Brooklyn, New York. Tony, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton. Hello.
Yeah, how you doing, Rev? Yeah, what's up, Al?
I'm
my
good.
point is Donald Trump is a racist, right?
Right.
But you gotta know Biden is a racist, Kamala Harris is a racist, and the rest of these Democrats in New York City is a racist. Miss Hochul.
Well, what? How do you define racist?
You know what a racist is, Al. You run around.
No. Don't double talk. You made a statement that they're racist. How do you define racist? Hello?
Donald Trump is doing a lot for the black community.
Wait a minute. Wait, I asked you a question. You can't answer the question, and then don't make a statement that you can't back up. Third time, how do you define a racist?
You know what a racist is.
Okay, let's go to the next call. No, you don't know what a racist is, obviously. I gave you 3 times, and you can't answer it. See, that's why I like people to call like that, because they expose themselves. Now, you go call Donald Trump and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, everybody a racist, but you can't tell me what a racist is. Come on. Thank you for your call. Let's go to, and you can call anytime, but you can't make a statement here, brother, that you can't be questioned on, because I'm not going to say anything out my mouth that I cannot tell you what I'm saying it for. And you welcome, it's your show. You welcome to call, but you can't say nothing you ain't going to back up, because I don't understand how Kamala Harris, a black woman from Caribbean and Indian descent, is a racist. Racist against who? White folks? I mean, I need to know what you're saying. Let's take a break. Be right back. She can't be a racist against herself. So you saying she's anti-white? I mean, what are you saying? 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton. Be right back.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. Just break. I believe that.
Good morning, everybody. I hope the coffee has kicked in by now. I want to start by thanking your leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton, and everyone at the National Action Network for 35 years of standing up for civil rights and opportunity for everyone.
And I couldn't be more grateful for the way that you have blessed the lives of so many, including mine.
As we look today on King Day, let us not forget that we had to struggle to even have this day. They did not wake up one morning and say, let's give a federal holiday to Martin Luther King. People petitioned, people marched. Let us remember now, as we bring our children and grandchildren up the Potomac, that they can see the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, and one memorial that never served as president, but changed this country more than any other American, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
This was an amazing MLK breakfast.
It is truly an honor, and more importantly, this is an important day for us.
I feel incredibly lucky and honored to be in this room on this day, celebrating Dr. King's legacy of civil rights, especially in the moment that we're facing on a national level. It feels like warmth and home being in this room.
So I'm encouraged by today. I'm encouraged that we're getting out, we're protesting, but more needs to be done. We need to lean in.
And let's keep fighting, because the job is not done here. And I just feel so honored to get this award. It's not about getting an award, it's about doing the work. And let's keep up with the work.
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. Just break. I believe that.
Good morning, everybody. I hope the coffee has kicked in by now. I want to start by thanking your leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton, and everyone at the National Action Network for 35 years of standing up for civil rights and opportunity for everyone.
And I couldn't be more grateful for the way that you have blessed the lives of so many, including mine.
As we look today on King Day, let us not forget that we had to struggle to even have this day. They did not wake up one morning and say, let's give a federal holiday to Martin Luther King. People petitioned, people marched. Let us remember now, as we bring our children and grandchildren up the Potomac, that they can see the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, and one memorial that never served as president, but changed this country more than any other American, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
This was an amazing MLK breakfast.
It is truly an honor, and more importantly, this is an important day for us.
I feel incredibly lucky and honored to be in this room on this day, celebrating Dr. King's legacy of civil rights, especially in the moment that we're facing on a national level. It feels like warmth and home being in this room.
So I'm encouraged by today. I'm encouraged that we're getting out, we're protesting, but more needs to be done. We need to lean in.
And let's keep fighting, because the job is not done here. And I just feel so honored to get this award. It's not about getting an award, it's about doing the work. And let's keep up with the work.
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. Just break.
You live.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, this Wednesday. Opening up the phones and our message board. The message board is jumping today, and I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. I've got to go Martise Chisholm's writing on our message board. She leads our chapter in Tennessee. Said when I was sitting on the stage at the National Action Network convention, when the young man asked everyone to raise their hands, Maggot is desperate. I want our young people to know vote is not a strategy. No vote is a surrender. The young people in my family will be voting in 2026 for their great-great-grandmother who lost her life in 1966 fighting for our right to vote. And you are absolutely right, Martise, but let me say this. You're going to have a lot of confusion purposely traffic through our community, through the airwaves, through television over the next few months because of the midterm elections. And they're going to try to get people not to vote so they can keep the Republicans in. And they're going to use people to try and also set a climate for 28. Now, everybody that's running around yelling no vote and all kind of foolishness are not agents. Some are just swayed by agents and ignorant enough to go with their emotions and not think through what somebody's telling them. So they get them up. Oh, y'all shouldn't listen to that. Get reparations, and never ask, well, how are we supposed to get them? Now, some of them are outright agents and provocateurs. Get used to them because you're going to have to live with them for the next few months. And I'm ready for them because all my career, you've had that. And, you know, my mother used to tell me, I quoted it this morning on my morning thoughts I do on Instagram, that she's from the South, born and raised in Dothan, Abbeville sections of Alabama. I came north and met my father, married, and had me and my sister. She said, so you don't know nothing about farming, Al. She said, if you go out to a farm in Alabama or anywhere where they have farming, and you see a pile of hogs, if you take a brick and throw it, the hog that hollers is the one you hit. They're hollering now. Look at Trump talking about the Pope, talking about what he's going to do to Iran, bring them back to the Stone Ages, talking about this, that, and the other. He's hollering. And you see people call my show, other shows on the message board. I'm against voting. Voting don't mean nothing. Everybody's a racist. Because you hit them or their sponsors. That's why they squealing. Guy said to me, I read that 40 years ago, you was informing on the mafia to the feds. Oh, so you with the mafia? Yeah, I informed to the feds about Trayvon Martin, too, and about George Floyd. The federal government's supposed to be getting gangsters out of taking black artists' money. Oh, I didn't look at it like that. Just noise. Why you think we made Eric Holder the Attorney General? So we'd be over federal law enforcement. We ain't trying to be criminals. We trying to get the criminals. But they have you tricking yourself to where you identify with the folk killing your community. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. I see you, Mr. Mayor Rodney Jones, Mayor of Queensbridge Houses, somewhere he wants to hear. He has heard a peep from some of the bishops in New York. And I think he's right. They ought to be loud and outraged at what this president says about the Pope. I think he's absolutely right. And Akeem Smith is saying, Reverend Sharpton, ABC News reporting that Iran threatened Red Sea transit if Trump continues for his naval blockade. Yeah, I read that when I came on. I think I said it, there's definitely going to be an end to this story. Yeah, I read this also this morning. An aspiring New York City rapper. Listen, this is heartbreaking. Was shot by his stepson simply because he asked him to not smoke around his pregnant wife. The availability of guns, this James Mitchell said into it. The availability of guns is out of control. I did Monday night the eulogy at the funeral of a 7-month-old baby that some guys rolled up on a moped, started shooting at the crowd, and a stray bullet hit this girl and killed the 7-month-old baby. And I said, we got to stop this. We've got to stop glorifying gangsterism, thugism. We've allowed them to trick us into acting like being a thug is being black. Being a street urchin is being black. Blackness is not how low you can go. Blackness is about how high you can reach, despite the fact they told you you'd never be nothing. You're playing into the stereotype of inferiority. Just shooting at a crowd, kill a 7-month-old baby. Shooting and killing a man for saying, don't smoke around my pregnant wife. I want to protect the health of my baby. Bam! And you act like the thug is the hero because they got your mind twisted. They got you thinking that that's the hip thing to do. You on the mob side. Like I said, you got to get on the message board and protect the mafia who sell heroin and death to our neighborhood and took our artists' money. But we're not supposed to do nothing against them. Are you out of your mind? Think about what you're saying. And I think that if we deal with this straight up, sometimes you got to shake people into saying, wait a minute, you know what? That don't make no sense. I don't understand. I saw somebody had written on a message board how Harriet Tubman got an award saying that she's being honored because she built an underground railroad and got 500 blacks from slavery to freedom. And in accepting the award, she said, I would have freed more if I could have convinced them they were slaves. I was reading someone the other day, somebody talked about how the fact is, even in biblical times, when God used Moses to free the Israelites, most of the Israelites stayed in Egypt because they didn't believe they could make it to the promised land. And a lot of people need to understand that we got to take some of our people kicking and screaming, mad at us for fighting to make it better. I mean, think about that now. I'm advocating people vote. I'm advocating that people open up these jobs with DEI so that we can demand diversity, so we get the same jobs others get when we're qualified, in some cases more qualified. I'm advocating that we had a right to vote. And you mad at me because you hate yourself. How you mad at folks standing up for you? I don't care whether people do it my way or not. If they're standing up for me, I am not against them. Something wrong if you're drowning and someone tries to pull you out the water and you mad at them. Who you trying to pull out water? Must have an angle. Just trying to get on the newspaper. You were drowning. What do you care if I get in the newspaper? You were drowning. Let's go back to the phone. Let's go to James in Washington, D.C. James.
Hey, Real Mal, a long-time listener and first-time caller. I have a question, Reverend Al. First of all, let me say congratulations on all your accomplishments.
Thank you.
And you're definitely on the move. You're definitely on the move. Can you tell me, I know you know the Michael Jackson's family. Do they control his estate or somebody else control it?
His lawyer, I did the eulogy at Michael Jackson's funeral, and there were meetings right after his lawyer and managers got the estate. People fought, and then we ended up with Michael Jackson's mother being a part of the estate, but not having the majority share, which is why there's always been back and forth on his estate. And many people, including me, begged Michael to get all that straight, never thinking he was going to die when he did. So there's even the argument now about some film that's come out that half the family supports, the other part of the family doesn't support. I've tried to stay out of it because I don't like to get in the middle of family stuff. But you're right to ask the question. It's split. The estate is not totally controlled by his family, no.
Oh, I see. All right, well, thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Keeping it real.
83-year-old preacher without a church.
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you're very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They called me everything but a child of God.
Racial discourse, a blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I
a race
had to
baiter.
learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that called me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them. Now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
Voting rights.
Everyone look here.
Say it again, Ms. Pearl.
Voting rights.
Voting rights. One more time, Ms. Pearl.
Voting rights.
There we go.
Voting rights. Voting rights. Voting rights. Voting rights. Voting rights. When do we want it? Now. When do we need it? Now.
Yesterday.
What do we want? Voting rights. When do we need it? Now. What do we want? Voting rights. When do we need it? Now.
Letting the joy unfold. I'm living my life like it's golden. 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 Golden. Living my life like it's 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 golden.
Sharpton, 1-877-532-5797, or go to our message page at nationalactionnetwork.net and go to our live stream. Tanya Stovall is saying, finally, something has made some of the MAGA people wake up. Forensic accountant. Yeah. They're going to have a lot more than that if we stay on it. And we are going to stay on it. Tanya Stovall saying that also Trump will be a lame duck either way, and hopefully the 25th Amendment will take on a new look at this time. We can certainly keep putting the pressure on. Rodney Jones, the mayor from Queensbridge Houses, said, I met Miss Olivia and Disco Bryan and others at the 35th National Convention. They were calling me the mayor of Queensbridge. I had a couple of fans wanting to take selfies with me. Thank you, my shepherd. Yeah, they should. They need to know people out here, freedom fighters, that's really fighting. And thank you for your call. Let me go to now. I always go to Deshaun and he hang up. Let's see if Deshaun gonna be on this time. Deshaun from Washington D.C.
Yeah, I'm here, Al. I don't have a problem with voting, but we have to admit it's a sunk cost fallacy.
It's
You've
what?
all been voting Democrat since before. A sunk cost fallacy.
Who's been voting Democrat?
Do you know what that is, or do you need me to explain it?
You can explain it. Yes.
Black people.
Black people's been voting Democrat.
So you've been voting Democrat since.
No, when I was born, we were
before
voting.
Motown had their first hit.
Well, we've been voting Democrats since Democrats gave us the Civil Rights Act. Before that, we was voting Republican, which means that we're intelligent enough to vote for people that support us. When I was born, my parents was voting Republican.
Okay.
Okay, what?
Okay. And as I was saying, okay, calm down, Al. I know you're triggered
Wait a minute.
these days, but I'm getting
No,
to it.
you're the one that seems to be less than calm. I just answered your facts were wrong. We were not always voting Republican. That's all. There's nothing to get excited about.
We've been voting Democrat all these years. We was on the bottom then, and we're still on the bottom.
And we
now.
voted Republican many years. We voted Republican many years. And we were on the bottom. Republicans or Democrats, Deshaun ain't gonna save us. We're gonna have to use either side to save ourselves step by step.
Yes. Can I please finish? Mm-hmm. And the point I'm trying to make is that we cannot put all of our faith in voting. And you all get an attitude with me when I say we need to rebuild the Black community. You accuse me of working for Donald Trump when I said that Black kids need to learn how to code.
I did not.
Why would Donald Trump care
I'm not going to allow you to lie. I never said you work for Donald Trump because you said Black kids need to code. What are you talking about? I never said that. I don't think you work for Donald Trump.
I said that we need to rebuild the Black. I said we need to rebuild the Black family
and I agree.
Make sure our kids need to code.
I agree.
And then when you muted me and said I work for Donald Trump.
No,
just like you said
that Donald Trump and other things that he did not do, that he did, and he did not do. And that's what I said. I didn't say that you work for Donald Trump because he wanted to build a black. Donald Trump ain't trying to build a Black community. Donald Trump has not told you that he's trying to build a Black community at all. I don't even know why we trying to act like he's doing something that he ain't trying to act like he's doing.
Yeah, you're right. So again, and like at the convention when Melrose was trying to call out this voting stuff, I actually thought you were way out of line the way you were. Melrose, the young brother, FBA brother, who was talking about voting, and then you got up there and made this grandiose speech saying you was a paid agent and called the brother stupid. I thought that was way out of line.
First of all, if the brother had an opinion and he came and stated his opinion, and we didn't stop him at our convention, we let him finish, didn't we? So then, let me get this right. He's supposed to be able to say what he want to say, tell everybody is a racist, that old folk ought to sit down. He can get up there and say all of that, and we're not supposed to use our mic to answer him. See, the problem they got is they think they can take shots and people don't fire back.
Al.
If you take a shot, then you expect people to shoot back. We didn't stop from saying what he had to say. Now you want to censor me from responding?
No, Al, what I'm trying to say is you should have talked to that young brother face to face like a man.
He walked out. He got up and cussed everybody out and left. I would have met with him. If he had walked up, if he walked in here now and said he wanted to talk, I would talk and hear his opinion and want him to hear mine. He walked out, which is why I said either you stupid or you an agent. And I repeat that because it's stupid to get up and condemn everybody and leave, or it's an agent work that you were there so that you can put something out there so that the Republicans can say, oh, somebody said so-and-so. It's one or the other. Now, if he came back, I would be glad to sit down and talk with him. I talk to people every day that disagree with me. But if you're going to grab a mic and scream and holler and then walk out the door, what am I supposed to do but think that you set up some kind of way?
Oh, can I respond now?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's the reason why my generation hates the civil rights generation, because you all seem like it's your way or the highway. You're not open to new ideas. I hate the civil rights generation as much as I hate KD. He's a total fraud. Well, but I like him more than I like the civil rights generation.
Well, first of all,
he'll be
what is the age group of the civil rights generation?
Baby boomers.
Martin Luther King wouldn't have been a baby boomer, and they were civil rights. Du Bois wouldn't have been a baby boomer, and that was civil rights. So I mean,
okay.
I think that there are people in every generation, including yours and mine, that have disagreements, and many that have different strategies, different ways. And I think that
absolutely. And one last thing.
Wait. I'm gonna let you finish after you let me finish. And I don't hate your generation. And if you hate mine, fine. But I don't speak for all of my generation. There's many in my generation don't agree with me. And guess what? There's many in your generation that don't agree with you. So you don't speak for a generation, and neither do I.
Absolutely. And Kamala Harris is not FBA. There's not one person in her family who's an American descendant of slaves. As a matter of fact, on her daddy's side, they were slave owners. So it's kind of offensive to call her black. She's not.
Well, I think
if she's black, lady, white.
I think that Kamala Harris's father is a black Jamaican, and she's black in my book.
No, he's Hindu. He's Hindu and Irish. How does that equal
He
black?
is not Hindu and Irish. That's not true. We can have different opinions, but not different facts. But let me tell you something.
So yeah, like
let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Deshaun. If Kamala Harris was a blonde, blue-eyed white woman from Virginia and stood up for affordable health care and police reform and all the other things, and Donald Trump was against that, I would support the blonde, blue-eyed woman, white woman from Virginia. So I don't have to prove her blackness. I can stand by what her record is and what Trump was. The choice was between her and Trump. The choice wasn't whether I prove she's black.
I'm talking about whether she's FDA. Yeah, I'm not talking about her voting record.
Whether she SDA or not, that's not why I supported her. That's whether she is that or not. I'll give you that. Now, let's go by who said what in terms of what they're going to do for us or not. She stood up at our convention and said she supported reparations. Does Donald Trump support us getting reparations?
Yeah, you know that. You know she's not supporting any reparations.
She said it.
BS.
She said it.
You know that, and I know that.
So now, when she told Sheila Jackson Lee, who sponsored the bill in Congress, that I'll support it, she was lying, because you don't want to answer the question I asked, because Donald Trump is the one to say we'll never get it. So if you condemn her, who said she supported, why aren't you condemning Donald Trump, who said he wouldn't support it? See, the problem,
I condemn them all. But Sheila Jackson Lee wasn't FBA either. She was Jamaican.
So was Marcus Garvey.
Marcus Garvey ain't up here telling me who I have to vote for.
But he left a lot of books about. He left a lot of books about what you ought to do. You see, the problem y'all got with me, that's why the guy ran out the room, is that I can go back and forth. I grew up in the streets. I know all of this. So you can't run the mess here. Because we're gonna have a conversation, and a lot of stuff y'all cannot answer. We should have this dialogue. And you should say what you got to say, and I say what I got to say. But you call people, one generation is somewhere. Ain't no whole generation, nothing. We always had differences in generations. Stop that. Let's be able to talk to each other rather than at each other. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. I remember I was 12 years old. I was a boy preacher in the Church of God in Christ. Bishop Sheard knew my bishop, Bishop Washington. Bishop Washington, my mother was concerned I was getting into politics. They brought us to Reverend William Jones. His daughter's traveling with us. And Reverend Jones introduced me to Jesse Jackson. I became his youth director in New York at 13. I liked Reverend Jackson because he was a little hipper than the older preachers. He was 27, I was 13 by the time I became youth director. So he was like a father figure to me. When I got about 40, he said, quit calling me father, call me big brother. We went to the car center, and James Meeks and Jesse Jr. and I had dinner with him that night. And that's where he said to Al, Meeks, Jesse Jr., y'all are my disciples. And we said disciples. And for years we joked each other. I'd come in the room and Junior said, here's disciple number 1. But discipleship meant you carried forth the vision. The next day, he took me on the ferry to Goree Island, Mrs. Jackson. On Goree Island, he showed me where the slave camps were. And I will never forget, he said, Al, you see what that artifact is? I said, what's that? He said, they call it the door of no return. When you go through that door, you either made it to America to slavery, or you died in the Atlantic. The door of no return. But I talked to him about 3 years ago. And I reminded him, I said, remember when you brought me to the door of no return? He said, yeah. I said, well, we did return. We returned the President of the United States, Barack Obama. We returned the Vice President, Kamala Harris. We returned with businessmen. They thought they sent us as slaves. We came back as global liberators. The problem is that too many of us did not join the movements that sponsored us. And there was a breakout in 2024 called Negro Amnesia, where you forgot where you came from and forgot how you got where you got. Therefore, they're trying to take back everything you had.
That I want to end. He talked about the dry bones in the valley.
I'll tell you that.
The only reason that the wind could blow life into the bones is because at some point they had to be connected. If the wind had blown into a disconnected body, it still wouldn't have worked. So before he prophesied to the wind, they had to first get the foot bone to connect to the ankle bone, and the ankle bone to the calf bone, and to the knee bone, and the knee bone to the thigh bone. If we are to prophesy to the wind, we must first connect this body. We must connect Eddie Long to Farrakhan and Cornel West to Elders and Lowry to Sharpton. If we can connect this body, then God will blow the breath of life into our community. But as long as we are disconnected, the wind can't blow because it's blowing on disconnected dry bones. But the good news is that we're the children of people that have been through worse than this, and we're still here. So even though I get despondent, I don't ever get depressed, because I want the world to know you won't beat us, because we're the children of those that took the worst form of slavery and brutality that ever lived, that ever existed. Our parents survived the Middle Passage. Only the strong got here, and then we lost our name, our culture, our religion, and we're still here. But you don't know who we are. We're the children of Chaka Zulu. We're the children of Mary McLeod Bethune. We're the children of Marcus Garvey. We're the children of Martin Luther King. We'll be here. We were first, and we'll be last. We know who we are.
Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there, and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf, because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're gonna have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we're still marching. And I'm gonna keep marching, I'm gonna keep agitating, and I'm gonna keep going. Until we don't have to do it anymore. Eddie, known you a long time, Mariah, Chris and your kids. And I promise you this, the only thing that I really live for is I get up with this dream that every bigot, every racist, everyone in this country that hates will say, damn, he's up again.
live. You're live.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. And you can also go on the message board at www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. And I think that, again, let me read some of the messages. It says, forensic account says if reparations required signing up for a course in civics, plenty of people would say, I'm out. That's probably true. That's the only way you're going to get it is to know how to get it and how others got it. And I think that it is Vivian Dennis is saying, Reverend Al, you can dance. I want to thank everyone that marched in Alabama. I'm from Dothan, Alabama. My mother's from Dothan, Alabama. Is buried in Dothan, Alabama. And glad that you are listening. And I see Soul Foodie, meaning how do we get Congress to help? Red states won't do anything. They pass harsher laws and guidelines to Black and poor kids. There's no doubt about it. See, and that's all I try to say to people that take that position, is that I don't think the Democrats are no panacea. I think that like anybody else in the world, you deal with what is your better interest. And if I got to choose between someone who give me some of the things I want that I had to force them to, and someone that's I ain't giving you nothing, and the more you force, the more I'm going to try to hurt you, I'm going to go with the one I can get something out of. It's just that simple. Blacks were Republican since Lincoln. Lincoln was a Republican. They didn't go Democrat until the New Deal with FDR, some of them went over. And then the Civil Rights Movement, Kennedy and Johnson gave us what Eisenhower and them wouldn't give us. We always been practical. We wasn't born Democrats, born Black. Now we got this whole thing of, well, so-and-so's not a real Black. None of us made a reservation to get an ocean liner to come over here. We was all kidnapped and sold, whether we ended up in Trinidad, Jamaica, Alabama, or Mississippi. So let's stop this and fight for everybody. And that's why I said, people ain't got, I was every Saturday. Youth have their meetings every Monday night. Every generation in there. And you ain't got to holler at us. Come to the meeting and say, I want my say. Youth meet Monday night. We have our rally Saturday morning. Saturday, you want to say you want to talk to somebody, you want to get in one of the committee meetings, even with me, you can do that. But we are so accustomed to beat each other's throats. And we don't, somebody wrote on the message board, we don't go to CCAP. You know better than to go to one of their meetings and do that. Because you know they'll put you in jail. Now, our security will tell you, wait a minute, you can't use certain language. But they put you in jail. So come on, let's stop this. And if we got disagreement, we ain't got to be disagreeable. Let's sit down and talk about it. You may have a point I hadn't thought of. I may have a point you hadn't thought of. But I ain't going to be intimidated by you, and I'm not going to try to intimidate you. So hollering and screaming and snatching and carrying on, look, I ain't scared of that. Let's sit down and talk. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Cliff in Connecticut. Cliff, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hey, Reverend Sharpton, thanks for taking my call. Man, you made me sit through that. That was unbelievable, and you handled that well. That was unbelievable.
Well,
hey, but listen, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for one thing, though, sincerely, for having Sister Kamala Harris, and I voted for her twice. You know, so if anybody looked black, she looked closer to black than Donald Trump. I'll tell you that. But let me say this though, but when you ask her in terms of her running again, you know, thank you so much, man, because we as the black community, she won the first time. There's no question about it. And the black folks showed out the majority. So we can do it again. And Reverend Al, let me suggest this, that we in the black community should galvanize. Hopefully she will show some enthusiasm and run again. We should support her 100% in this primary. Now, if she loses the primary, then we can back whatever nominee that gets that position. But I think we as a black community should show 100% support for that sister, 100%, in my opinion. Does that make a little bit of sense, Reverend?
Make a lot of sense. Thank you for your call and your perspective. Trisha's on the message board saying HR 40, which is reparations, has been introduced. Representative Presley, Representative Yana Presley, was the keynote speaker at our women's luncheon during the convention this year. She proposed it in the House since Sheila Jackson Lee has passed, and John Conyers, who originally proposed it, has passed. She's the third generation pushing this. And Senator Booker introduced the Senate companion bill. Is your representative/senator's name on the list? If not, have you called, emailed, or visited? I could see if you called and they said no, or they said something else, you being bitter. But if you haven't even put the pressure on them like we do, I don't understand what you're talking about. You thought they was going to wake up one day and just do it on their own? We had to fight to get the right to vote and fight now to keep it. And we had to fight to get reparations. And let me tell you a secret. We ain't going to get it fighting each other. Let's go to Lee in Washington, D.C. Lee, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton. Is Lee there?
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, is this Mr. Sharpton?
Yeah.
Al Sharpton?
Yes.
Hi, my name is C. I'm calling from Washington State. I'm a disabled vet, and I've been following you mostly all my life.
Okay.
A few years behind you, sir.
All right.
But my question to you is that on the YouTube videos, there's a bits and pieces of the young man at your convention bringing up the frustration of reparations. Do you think right now is the time to hit on reparations, or should we strategically focus on the most important issue, I feel, is the voting rights? Should we be placing people in these positions that you mentioned earlier at your convention?
Yeah, I think you hitting it right on the head. I think that we have to get voting rights to even have a serious talk about reparations, because you don't have the votes to get reparations if they take away the voting rights. I think it's not one or the other, it's one and the other.
Yes, sir. I just have a concern because young people we're in this society of the instant gratification through YouTube. They want it now, they skip the process, but they fail to understand that this is a lot of policy involved, you know how it is. We have to go through the hoops. There is no shortcut to this.
Right.
So I wanted to reach out, and I also wanted to reach out to you to say that it's very important. I feel that we support our Black representation. You know, this put down I see on the YouTube with Kamala Harris and others, it's disturbing. It's further tearing our community apart. We're just not in a position to be going at each other's throat. And instead of putting these candidates down, how about we be in a solution to lift them up and bring some problem-solving answers to the table? This is all I have to say. Thank you so much for being active in our community.
Thank you for your call. No, and I think, again, a lot of us are frustrated, but some of us have always been frustrated. We just decided to do something about what we're frustrated about, because we learned the fact that we were frustrated and angry, they don't care. They don't care. But you mess with their votes and their dollars, then they care. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keep it real. Keep it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
We don't hear the radio ads about the IRS.
Reverend Sharpton, good to see you here tonight. By our count at WMUR, you've only been here once in 2003.
You counted wrong.
Okay.
You must be using the Florida Republicans count.
Nevertheless, as far as your visits are concerned, you have been here far less often than your colleagues here who have gone through the paces, met with the voters, done the grassroots style of campaigning that the voters of New Hampshire are expecting and looking for. Why shouldn't those very same voters not think of you as disrespecting them by not coming here and doing the same thing?
Well, I think, first of all, I've been here several times last year and this year. I intend to be here. In fact, I was to preach here Sunday, and the snow stopped me. I intend to be here between now and the primary. And I think that's any more than any of us. There are many places that some of my colleagues have not been to often at all. I think that people go and campaign based on their resources and their availability. So I think that that is not something that they should read into any of us about any particular primary. I also want to address your first question. As a minister, I think that you can have a personal motivation of religion, but you should not try to act like your religion is something that dictates where people ought to go. I pray every day. I can assure you in my talks with God, he is not a registered member of the right wing of the Republican Party.
Today, many of those same challenges still remain that Reverend Al Sharpton stood on the 2004 Democratic primary debate stage and spoke about, a clear reminder that the work is far from over. For over 35 years, the commitment to justice has remained strong. The fight continues, the voice is steady, and the mission moves forward.
I had a thought this morning that I wanted to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talent in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones, and too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I help the
formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advise at you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughter started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready, or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others, the way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself. This organization has been on the front line. People ask me, why do families call us? Because we never leave them. No justice! No justice!
You're lying.
What are we keeping it real? Keeping it real. I am your host, the Reverend Al Sharpton. Keeping it real. And we're back, 1-877-532-5797. Don't forget Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MS Now. And we're loading it up for this weekend. Make sure you're watching. And, of course, you in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, and be at the Saturday Action Rally as we do the follow-up and where we outline the steps where we're going after the convention. And we are meeting the next several weeks at the Mother AME Zion Church, Saturday mornings, 9 to 11. I'll be there on 137th Street and Lenox Avenue in Harlem. And I see on our message board, Soul Foodie says, Black families need help and support exactly like they support advocates for immigrants. I agree with that, but also know Soul Foodie, some blacks are immigrants. People from Haiti, people from Barbados, people from Trinidad. We can't be for blacks and not be for blacks. So I think, I give you an example. I pull up the bio myself and asked about Kamala Harris's father. And this is right in, you can Google this up. Kamala Harris' father, Donald J. Harris, is Jamaican, born in 1938, St. Ann's Bay, Jamaica, and later immigrated to the United States to pursue graduate career. He is black, of Afro-Jamaican descent, and he became a prominent economist serving as a professor of economics at Stanford University. Donald Harris has noted that his Jamaican ancestry includes both African and possibly other lineages common to the Caribbean complex cultural colonial history. So he's black. I mean, and to say he ain't black, Hindu's a religion. It's not a race. That's like saying somebody ain't white, they Baptist. I mean, let's talk to each other and make good sense. it'll help with the conversation. Let's go to Raj in Cleveland, Ohio. Raj.
Hey, Rev, thanks for taking my call. How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
You know, oh, that's good. I remember when Kamala was first started, when they announced that she was running, and a lot of blacks, they were saying they got caught up in this, debate about Kamala, what is she, her ethnicity and background. But what they are missing, just like the last caller, is the fact that from the GOP side of things and the right, she's other. That's all that matters. Whatever they want to say, is this nationality, that nationality, she represents opposition to them. So the guy said, she said that she's for reparations as if he didn't believe it. Okay, here's the thing. She's other and she's Democrat. That's all you need to know. That means she's there to put money. They're going to put money into the economy. The right, which is the opposite side, Trump side, they're there to take money out of the economy, which is taking money out of your pocket. And so, the people, and so all these guys, three, I noticed they all kind of fit that frame, that profile of the Trump voters, black guys that voted for Trump. The one guy called you agent. The other guy said, the blacks, they always voting Democrat. What they are, they don't know history, and a lot of them just got into politics when Trump, I'll say in depth, because Trump, the one brought in those right-wing loudmouth podcasters who were spreading propaganda along with Fox News. And before that, a lot of these people who call themselves in the know, they're just repeating what they heard from the right and didn't even know it. Don't know it, still don't know it. And that's why they got caught up emotionally. They were already like in this gender war. A lot of them, like the last caller, he always called you to talk against black women, and all of them are in the same pool. That's the pool of Trump voters. They're uninformed. They're highly misogynist, and they're over emotional, highly emotionally charged, and their instincts, and they're confused. So, because they don't know history enough when it comes to politics or history, they can't connect dots. So on one hand, they'll say things like, "Yeah, I'm for reparation," and you're not, or the left is not. And the other hand, they say the people on the left aren't fighting hard enough, while they'll go toward the right and support them, and they're the main ones that's putting up the roadblocks, so they won't get anything.
Yeah, well, see, that's why I've either got to question their motive or who they represent, because why are you putting a level of accountability on some of the Democrats, which you should, if you're going to put the same on the Republicans? So if I tell you that Kamala Harris says she'll support reparations, and you say, I don't believe her. Well, Donald Trump said he wouldn't. So why do you believe him? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. You gonna not believe her when he telling you he won't do it. So you got a choice of hoping she's telling the truth, because you know he telling you, I'm not gonna do it at all.
Yeah, because they don't have a vision. They don't know. See, they don't know what's really going on. Most of them probably don't even know most of the prominent members in the cabinets. Like a lot of them don't even know how to look at a president. The first thing when he comes in, who he start lining his cabinet with. They don't look at stuff like that. And
but Raj,
Trump
let me say
came in
this, Raj. I think that a lot of them have don't know. And I think a lot of them get, on one side of it and mad because of the situation they in, and they're right to be mad, but they just don't know, how they're going to deal with it. But some of them, I honestly believe, just like they believe about whatever they want to believe about Kamala or me, anybody, I honestly believe some of them are plants. Because we never hear this until we start getting around election time, and it's starting to heat up now in convention and all that. So some of them, it's just the timing of it. I've been in this a long time. Maybe I'm paranoid, but like Jackson's wife, Jackie, said, we may be paranoid, but that don't mean ain't nobody after us. We ain't heard none of this all winter long. But now that things are heating up and we're going to get ready to decide on the midterms, it's all of this, the Republican, Democrat. Some of this don't smell right to me. Now, I'm just being straight up.
No, I agree. You got like these ones they're quick to like snatch crumbs as soon as a parrot like Candace Owens or Kanye West to come by and says, "Hey, don't do that." They just follow it. They don't, because they're black, so they'll say, "Oh yeah, they're right." They think they're saying something profound because they're saying, "Go the other way. Don't follow them," and because they never was going in any direction. So to them that sounds good, and then they these grifters, these high profile grifters, they appear to be on the winning team, and they're being led astray, and they think because they yell the loudest and following people who got money, even though they don't have any, have no real connections, they just like go and say, "Hey, yeah, they're right. We shouldn't follow them because it's a longer uphill. When you're fighting uphill, which we've been doing for decades and centuries, the fight is going to be harder. So it appear to be no glory and it's not fun in that. But when you're on the winning side, when everything seems to be going, good, and you're sounding good, and you're looking good, but you're full of hot air like Trump is, and you don't know better. You can't see a slow moving glacier like you have with all the progress blacks have made all this time.
Right.
So to them, nothing's happening. So here comes a loudmouth, with the horn saying, "Hey, Blair, look over here," and this shiny object, and they just go for it because they can't distinguish what's happening.
Exactly right. I think that's true. Thank you for your call. I think that's true, but I think that those of us that do know what's happening, and I'm not just talking about me, many of you listening out there, have to stand up to them. I think our silence makes them think they're making a point that they're not making. And some of them, not all, not even most, some of them will say, "I never thought about it that way." Because I have sat down with some of them. Like I was telling some young people Saturday at the rally, that's why we brought in our youth department. That's why we sponsored youth from HBCUs all over the country where we did the tour. So what are you talking about, the civil rights generation? Right after we did the Saturday rally and did the keynote, that's what it was Youth Day. Oh, I didn't know that. So let's talk this out. At each other's throat, whoever pumped you with all that information is misinformation. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
He has
the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. And I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King saying, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. Yeah. One more time. I want to say it real slow. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has smiled on me. Yeah. I feel it. Then I went on by backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to scream, y'all. I want to scream, y'all. God has smiled on me. He has set me free.
Sharpton.
I am here, Reverend Al, with Dr. Glenda Glover at Tennessee State University, and I have the Tennessee State University leaders who all want to thank you for being our civil rights leader.
The Attorney General of Black America, Ben Crump.
Commitment to justice.
And I'm probably going to need your help on this legal fight. You know, they shorted the historically black colleges and universities to the tune of about $13 billion. And Tennessee State was the one they shorted the most.
Absolutely. Well, let me know. I'm on the next plane as soon as you holler. You know, when Ben Crump called, I don't even question it. I just head to the airport and get the details on the way.
Live from the National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. Keeping it real. And now, America's #1 civil rights leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Trisha, 1989, says only half of my comment went through about. Okay, they're cutting it off. That's the screen. We got so many calls coming in. I'd be interested. Okay, went through about reparations survey. 87% said no, it would be too divisive and focus on current racial disparities, even though they're basically taking away DEI. Okay, Trisha. And a lot of people are saying that we've got to get DEI back. We've got to say the right to vote to get the reparation. And I see those that are committed to reparations. I'm one of them, but I also see those that are saying we've got to also deal with the immediate issues at the same time, and I'm one of them too. That's why people that talk about my way or the highway, I really suspect their motives. I really respect suspect, not respect, we suspect their motives. Yeti Burt is saying, more grease to your elbow, Reverend Al. Love always from the UK. Calling Texan from England. Thank you. More grease to your elbow. That's a new one. I hadn't heard that one. I'm gonna use that. Cedric Cooper says, Dr. King once said, when evil men plot, good men must plan. What's happening now is a setup pertaining to all of these allegations at one time looming around Congress. I absolutely agree with you, Cedric. I absolutely unequivocally agree with you. It's a setup, it's a distraction, and some of these people causing confusion in our community is the same thing. Let's go to Brian in Philadelphia. Disco Brian, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Rev, what an incredible show today. Wow. I want to start with a question. Joe Scarborough quoted the New York Times in saying that you were the most important person, or let's say influencer within the Democratic Party. I'm wondering this, Rev. Do you think that hosting this show for 20 years and opening up your phone lines to anybody brave enough to call and hearing from those of us with or without prestigious titles has impacted or contributed to your prominence in the party and your general disposition in the world?
Well, I mean, first of all, the stations use that as a commercial. I don't know that I agree or even care with what they said, to be honest with you. What I care about is building National Action Network and trying to get to many people as I can with this show and with Politics Nation. How they designated, them same people designated me as all that, designated me as something else when I was fighting cases they didn't like, and they'll do it again. I do think, though, to your question, that being on the radio every day, and I don't know any other civil rights leaders that have done that daily, and opening the phones and opening up the message board has kept me a connection with people and has educated me. People say to me, I don't know why you do that. I'm talking about other civil rights leaders. I couldn't sit there and talk to people every day, 3 hours a day. Well, then you should not be trying to lead them if you don't talk to them. And some are going to be good. Some are going to be bad. Some are going to love you. Some of them are going to call and cuss you out. But you need to hear it all if you're really trying to do something. So whether it makes me influential or not, it makes me more informed. And therefore, I can try to do more with it. I don't know why they don't call other leaders and ask them, how come you ain't on radio taking our calls or getting our message?
I mean, it's just civil rights leaders, Rev. It's anybody with a big microphone. Nobody else in media is, and I said it before, I have to repeat it, is brave enough to do what you do here every day, as you have very clearly shown us today. You have created a space where anybody, not just political leaders, but brilliant sages like Pam from Chicago, like Rick in Germany, as well as clowns of all colors, like a couple of the fools you've had on earlier, can call in and make statements and ask questions and actually be heard for free. You see, Rev, every other major platform has a pay-to-play format, or they do like Sam Cedar does at Majority Report, where he has his two white leftist co-hosts team up and bully any liberal or moderate who calls in and humiliate them and make them look like a fool, even if they ask a good faith question. All the other major platforms, Rev, podcasts, influencer shows, and even some of your colleagues in cable news are closed systems. It's the host and the guest, and they already agree. There are never any curveballs. There's never, ever any real-time accountability. Keeping it real is a real time. Yeah, go ahead, Rev.
That's why they like podcasts, because you can't call in a podcast. They talking to each other. They talking to their friend. They talking to who they approve. I open up the lines, and when I see on the board whatever name, I don't know what they're gonna say, but I know they need a forum to say it. Even if they're gonna try to beat me down, I'm not worried about that, because I've been dealing with this all my life. But the real problem, Brian, is that we try to lead people we don't even like. If you like people or love your people, you hear what they got to say, even if you disagree. But you have to have some basic respect for them. And a lot of them just don't have no respect. I get in some of the meetings in the back rooms, and I'm shocked at the lack of respect they have for the people that they claim to be leading.
There you go. And this is why it matters. This show and your leadership, Rev, it matters more than ever right now, because people, these are my closing thoughts, Rev. People are being trained by the algorithm, by the most popular podcasters and streamers, not to listen. And no one can receive wisdom if they think they already have all the answers. And the podcasters and streamers who are the loudest and the meanest, they never ask questions, Rev. They're never curious. By the way, they never call you to ask what the leader of the civil rights movement, according to, random folks like, Coretta Scott King and Harry Belafonte, right? They called you the leader, okay? But these podcasters who, who got famous saying outrageous garbage, they don't think to consult you or get any advice or counsel or wisdom from you. And Rev, online, disagreement now isn't treated as something to explore. It's treated as a threat. So if the host gets triggered, then they either talk over the opposing viewpoint, or more likely, they just shut down and hang up or block the questioner. Right. And that happens on social media. It happens on podcasts. And that's the model of those people with the biggest platforms. And this is doing something, Rev, that's creating an illusion, because the algorithm amplifies the loudest voices. It feels like everybody agrees. It feels like everybody agrees that Hassan Piker and Graham Plattner and Bernie and Mamdani are the future of the Democratic Party. But when you listen to this show, you realize that's not necessarily true, that there's a whole range of people, especially in the Black community and beyond, who have concerns and nuance and who don't fit into these neat left-right boxes. So my question, Rev, my idea, my proposal is, those of us listening, learning, and soaking up your wisdom, I think we need to scale what you're doing. We need to take this model where everyday people can engage in real dialogue, ask tough questions and be heard, and bring it into a broader media culture that's driven by outrage and tribalism and echo chambers. And we need to start flipping the tables of all the Joe Rogans and Hassan Pikers. Because, Rev, to me, it's about whether we can relearn how to hear each other and respect each other in a democracy. And that's what I just wish, my prayer is that everybody who are your colleagues will eventually hear me telling them they need to follow you and do this. Because what you're doing here, Rev, it's not just civil rights. This is democratic, small d, leadership. And I thank you, Rev. Bless you, and I love you, and have a beautiful week. Thank you.
Thank you for your call, as always. Let me take my break. We'll be right back. Keep it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
the joy unfold. I'm living my life like it's golden. 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 Golden. Living my life like it's 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 golden. Letting the joy unfold. I'm living my life like it's golden. 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 Golden. Living my life like it's 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 golden. Letting the joy unfold like it's golden. Living my life 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 like it's golden. Letting the joy unfold. I'm living my life like it's golden. 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 Letting the joy unfold. I'm living my life like it's golden. 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 It's simple. It's simple. It's simple.
Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. This organization has been on the front line. People ask me, why do families call us? Because we never leave them. No justice! No justice! What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? When do we want it? When do we want it? This organization has been on the front line. People ask me, why do families call us? Because we never leave them. No justice! No justice! What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? When do we want it? When do we want it? This organization has been on the front line. People ask me, why do families call us? Because we never leave them. Keeping it real, I'm your host. Keeping it real. Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Or you can go to the message board at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. And Jesse Johnson on the message board says, Reverend Al Sharpton, the truth is they do not want no lady or woman to run this country. And they know people know that came out of your mother's womb. And you know, I've got to agree with Jesse. As I toured the country and told people, let's get out and vote, and what was at stake, which I've proven to be right, that Trump was going to go after voting rights, and he has. That Trump was going to go after the Affordable Care, and he has. That Trump was going to defend police, and he has, no matter what the circumstances. All I kept hearing from some black men, well, can a woman run the country? First of all, we were raised by women that had to run difficult things. But second of all, you're going to let a man in who has done everything but call you the N-word back in the White House because you're too insecure to support a woman? I mean, we need to be honest about this. A lot of us are immature and insecure. And I think that we need to really come to terms with that. Any man that is threatened by a woman being exalted, the problem is not the woman, the problem is you. Because leadership comes in many ways. No, Reverend, the Bible. What you going to do with the book of Esther in the Bible? What you going to do about Ruth in the Bible? So don't lie about the Bible. Just say that you've concocted some rhetoric to justify your insecurities. If you go into the Bible, and you got the wrong one, I've been preaching over 60 years, you got the wrong one because I know the Bible, I've been preaching it 6 decades. If women were not supposed to lead, then why did God have Esther lead Israel or Ruth? I mean, come on, stop it. Make it make sense. So if you're not going to the Bible, what you going by? Whatever you want to go by, I can show you that women were critical, and every one of us came to this earth through the womb of a woman. So let's stop it. But Trump played on that. No doubt about it. Let's go to Cincinnati, Ohio, to Ray. Ray, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call, Rev. You hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Because I want everybody to hear this. Rev, a couple of things you said earlier, that you like these two guys, and I'm assuming they were black, was trying to give you a hard. You like calls like that.
Yep.
And you said you may, you like callers like that because you may educate somebody who just don't know, or they may tell you a few things that give you something to think about. And you also said that you would rather, and I say this all the time on our radio show, I would rather vote for someone who will say, I will try, I will do my best to get you everything that you want, than vote for somebody that says, I'm not giving you a damn thing.
Right.
And why black folks don't realize that, I'll never know. But sometimes you just got to say our people. Black folks, they don't realize without the people who fought decades and centuries ago and died along the way, long before the Martin Luther Kings and the Jesse Jacksons and the Al Sharptons, where would their life be? Yeah, you may live in a $300,000, $500,000 home and a 3-car garage with 2 cars. Without the struggle, where would you be? Now, you take 3 guys like Tim Scott, Byron Donalds, and Clarence Thomas in their Ivy League education, and we call them educated fools.
Right.
Tim Scott, he said, I guess during the Trump campaign, this is how he said it. I just love you.
Yeah, he did.
Do you love that he's a 34-count felon? Do you love the fact that he's a sexual assaulter? Do you love the fact that he got rid of DEI, voting rights, and women's right to choose? He wants to get rid of Social Security. That's who you love? And so I'm thinking Tim Scott, he did all that butt kissing during the elections and was overlooked in Trump's cabinet. And I'm wondering, how do you feel now? So I just got to sit back and say, Rev, our people. And that's all I got to say, our people. Thanks, Rev.
All right. I appreciate the call. And you are absolutely right. I think that it is interesting. It comes to mind when you say that, that none of these so-called, I don't know what, they used to call them back in the day, militants, but some of these, they call up here barking and carrying on. They ain't mad at Tim Scott. They don't call him up, say nothing. Who embarrassed himself hanging on to Donald Trump's coattails talking about I love you. They don't say nothing to Scott. They don't say nothing to Byron down in Florida, running for Byron Donalds, running for governor of Florida, who says he's a MAGA man. I had him on my TV show, and I asked him, how can you do this? How can you do that? You are living in the suburbs, Byron, Congressman Donalds, married to a white woman that would have been against the law if it wasn't for the civil rights movement. You are on the prerogatives of civil rights. Oh, now you're being cute. No, I'm not being cute. That's a fact. It was against the law in Florida for you to marry your wife until people marched and opened up this society. But nobody is jumping on them. So that's why, maybe it's my old movement experience, that's why I got to ask, is these agents, are these people really confused? Because it seems you're real selective in your outrage. You got all these entertainers going with Trump. Ain't nobody on social media asking them, how could you do that? So I refuse to believe that all of these people are just that stupid. Or all these people just don't get it. Some of these people have been sent with confusion because we getting ready to hype up these midterm elections. And, there was a time when I was growing up that they, buy off people and we find out later they was working for the Republicans or whatever. They don't even have to buy them anymore. They rent them. They give them a 3-month, 4-month lease. We'll pay you till November. Then they back out with nothing. Come on. And I think that we definitely need to deal with that. When our youth, I see Tanya Stovall and Akeem is talking about Nan's youth group, which my daughter Ashley started. I don't even go to the youth meetings because I want them to have the meetings and come. They meet on Monday night, do their own thing. And it's about intergenerational because that's how I started as the head of a youth department in church and then later in Operation Breadbasket. But we didn't start by throwing people under the bus. Let me explain something. When we talk about people of African descent, in Africa, in the village, we honored the elders. We sought wisdom from the elders. And if we decided to do something different, we said that and got their blessings and even their warnings, and sometimes they agreed, sometimes they didn't. We did not start this tell old folks to shut up until we were influenced by people here from different communities. That has never been our way. The African tradition was to respect the elders. So I grew up, as you know, in the church. I grew up in the movement under Reverend Jackson. I didn't tell Jesse, sit down and get out of my way. I learned from him till it was my turn. And then he supported me and then blessed me for doing what I learned. Where you get all this foolishness about the old folk need to go sit down. And if they sit down, what you gonna do? I told a guy once many years ago, came to National Action Network, man, we need to have different kind of nationalist leadership. I took out the key. I said, here's the key. This is what we pay. The monthly bills are about $300,000. The payroll is this. You ready? You got it. You in charge. He said, hold it. Ain't no hold it. You telling people to sit down, then you must be ready to cover what they doing. Hello. Take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
I'm here because I must be here. Democracy is not there for the pig, and you have to fight for democracy. That's what it is. What Trump will erase, we will replace.
Is the dreamers in many cases have reversed and tried to turn it into a nightmare. We come to Wall Street rather than Washington this year to let them know you can try to turn back the clock, but you can't turn back time. We gonna keep the dream alive on Wall Street.
Rev, you know you were right there
from the beginning
with the stuff that was going on in Brooklyn at that time, at Howard Beach. You were right there.
He had in one of the early movies, he had my name. Then he put me in Malcolm, but I wasn't even old enough to know Malcolm. We've been through it all.
For those who see Malcolm X, it's 3 hours. But fast forward to the scene yourself.
Yep.
Bobby Seale.
Right. Bobby Seale, Denzel, and me.
Yeah.
Denzel was on the set.
Now, let me ask a question.
Yep.
What was your weight on that scene?
I probably about 270. I was bigger then.
Yeah.
Still had the hair back.
Yeah, you had the hair on.
Yeah, it was
Denzel, yourself, and Bobby Seale.
Yeah, all in one scene.
And also, there was no cut, so we went like this.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Only Spike could have done that.
It's my brother right here.
My baby.
Brooklyn's in the house.
Yes, sir.
Brooklyn's in the house.
BK. But Reverend, it looks bad now. Look at Iran. Look at what's going on in Minnesota. Look on. Yeah, but I was raised by them to realize that after storms, if we do the right thing in the storm, if we organize, if we register, if we do what we're supposed to do, there's always a rainbow coming out. The rainbow don't show until the storm is over. The rainbow gonna come out in November. The rainbow gonna come out in 28. We gonna fix these tricks in 26 and march through the gates in 28. We didn't come this far to turn around now. We won't go back. We won't go back. We won't go back.
Letting the joy unfold. I'm living my life like it's golden. 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 Golden. Living my life like it's 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 golden.
live, Rev.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Or on our message board, you can go to nationalactionnetwork.net, nationalactionnetwork.net, and you can write a message on the message board. I see or moved on. Somebody wrote, I love that, said that Lou Rawls used to say, mind is a terrible thing to waste. Jesse Johnson said that, Jesse Johnson wrote that message, but that's right. Think. Don't go by what I say or somebody say. Think for yourself. James Thomas is on the message board saying, breaking news, Rev, Senate rejects resolution to end Iran war for the fourth time. If I was the Dems, I'd be hammering this every day on the Senate floor, and I'd be calling them warmongers. I think you're right. I think that as much as I think the Republicans are openly contemptible of us, I think the Democrats are not handling their business as aggressive as they should and getting the people enthused and fired up about their own interests. I know that's right. Tanya Stovall says, I know what the huddle is, Rodney, and when it started, Rodney, Akeem is a little confused about it. I guess they're talking about huddle, our youth department in National Action Networks. Not only huddle here, they build huddles in our chapters around the country. But I want us to be very careful about this whole generation thing. I think that the older ones, me included, have a responsibility to give space and time for young people and to let them work out their talents and figure out what they can be. And we support them when they have figured it out. But I also think we cannot let those in society running the country act like it is old black folks that's the reason they in the rut they in. That is not true. They're in the rut they in because those in power decided that they were going to do what they've done. So I'm very careful to respect the ones that want to see it continued, younger generations. But I'm also very suspect against those that blame the older generation for their condition. No, the older generation, in many cases, fought. Some didn't, but many did. And I like that Cedric Cooper says, Reverend, is one thing to have celebrities on the red carpet. It's another thing getting them to put their boots on the ground. And that's true. And I do red carpets. I have a TV show, radio show, some things I need to do. But I'm also the first one with boots on the ground. We had the largest black-owned, black-sponsored march last year on Wall Street. And I just helped lead the No Kings March in New York. So when these celebrities go on the red carpet talk about, I don't do that, you can do both, like I did. Well, if I get out there marching, Reverend, they ain't going to invite me. They invite me. If you got support from your community, they need those numbers. And nobody better tell me not to do whatever. We had a 4-day convention. We counted the final numbers with about well over 10,000, maybe over 11, came through in those 4 days. Just about every Democratic possible candidate came through. Everybody from Billy Porter, across the board, entertainers came through. But Monday night, 2 days after the convention, I was in Brooklyn with the family of a 7-month baby that shouldn't have been shot, I was there preaching a funeral talking about gun control. So I didn't get all high. Oh, we had a great convention, and New York Times and everybody covered it. And right before that, we bought a new headquarters, was able to get a mortgage for $6 million, another million in rehab. Let me chill. Everybody understand I'm tired. No, I went to Brooklyn because that's what I supposed to do. I mean, how tired you are. You, in my opinion, now y'all may not believe in faith. God does not exalt you to make you above people. He exalts you so you can help lift people up or lift their concerns up, lift their issues up. I said at the funeral I did of that brother in Hartford, Connecticut, 2 weeks ago. And he had a mental episode. Police tried to talk him down. The cop pulled up, wasn't even part of the talk down, just got out and shot and killed him. Shot him 9 times. I went up with Ben Crump, put light on it, and they did fire the cop. Now we're waiting to see if they will prosecute him. And a lady said to me when I got out the car, she says, I didn't think when as famous as you got, you'd come to stuff like this. I said, you don't understand. I did not do, quote, stuff like this, as you call it, to get famous. I got famous to do stuff like this, to bring spotlight on where others wouldn't. Question is, you need to be asking everybody else, why don't they do what I do? Fame is a strategy. Fame is something you can use toward what you're trying to do. It's a means to an end. It's not the end. But some of us, it's the end. Let me remind you again, Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MS Now every Saturday and every Sunday. And this one's going to be a very hot one because we're coming out of the convention, but we're dealing with what's going on in Iran. We're dealing with the fact that voting rights is really hanging by a string. And the Affordable Care Act. I'm going to be hammering this with senators and governors this weekend. Make sure you watch it. Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5, Saturday and Sunday, MS Now. You that are in the tri-state area, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally in Harlem at the Mother AME Zion Church, 137th Street and between Lenox and 7th. And I think that you that already know, but you should, you that are not in the New York area, you can watch it live on YouTube/NAN or on Impact Television or on live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net. Evangelist Ramsey, one of the baddest activists in the land, certainly on a part that you and I need to exalt. I'm trying to pull up her comment. Okay, Evangelist Ramsey said they can work out their talents, Rev, but they need to still respect and honor the older ones. I agree. I heard one day at HOJ meeting that they don't want to allow old people this or the other. There should be a room at HOJ just for the old. I wonder, do they? And I don't understand what that means. We got plenty of rooms in the new headquarters, but why are we separating the old from the young? What does that mean? I don't understand it. Or maybe I do. It's they in slavery time marched us separately, separated families, played one against each other. This is what they do. Woman against man, man against child. Name the children after the master. Here we are 400 years plus, and we still going for that. We all need to find a way to communicate and struggle together. Because we are not responsible for what our conditions are. And yeah, they going to, you come out there, they going to talk all kind of smack against you. I'm used to that. Oh, you ain't this, you ain't that. Good. I ain't none of that. Now, can we get down to what can we do together? And I heard this about you. All that's true. Whichever you heard, I don't even want to care to argue against it. But can we deal with something now? Whatever you think I am, fine. I'm not here to convince you. I'm here to try to all of us struggle together. So people can't rattle me with a whole lot of nonsense. Yeah, it's nonsense. Yeah, they make up stuff. But people want to believe what they want to believe. But do you believe if we are all together, we can empower ourselves, salvage our communities, raise our children? That's what we ought to be raising and spending our time on, rather than some mess. All of us got some mess. And I think that we need to stop it. Because our kids are on their way. This may be the first generation of blacks in America that hand their children less rights than they had. Think about that. Healthcare, limited. DEI, jobs and contracts, over with. Trying to take away voting protection. We all had that. Our grandchildren and children may not have that. And you somewhere bickering and backering about what? I hear the music, got to go. Let me thank all of you for calling in, listening to you that called in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.